Yeah, so you're watching the only stream that currently exists. Yeah, I don't know if you've been looking at the news, but our old man Uncle Biden pulled it out again, and he passed into law a bill that would make my stream the only stream that exists, and that was Biden having a manic episodes. He found my channel. He's become obsessed with me. He's a fucking weird guy. If you ever hung out with Joe Biden, I was just having this thought about Joe Biden. The thought was, well, I was thinking about the ways that, like, Trump is funny and the ways that he's kind of like this shallow pool where everything he says, you can kind of see through it and you know where he's coming from, even if he thinks he's, like, being clever. Whereas Biden, it's a little bit more unclear, like, hearing Biden try to make a point is like trying to like follow a dim lantern in like a thick fog and being like, is that it? Is that the point? Or and then if you follow him around enough, you start to realize it's not weird that there's some old guy walking around who says weird things. It's just weird that we're following an old guy around and hearing the types of weird things that old guys say. We're not used to it. Trump is an old guy, but he's like a completely different kind of old guy. It's a completely different kind. It's not even a category. It's just he's kind of like just a specimen of some kind. And that's pretty much the end of that thought. So, if you have any thoughts about the president, you know, maybe you probably don't. You probably, like most people, you just like them both equally. Malwarebytes is telling me it's boosting my security for free. Get 24/7 protection against cyber threats and try out our latest features free for 14 days. This stream is not sponsored by Malwarebytes, but if they want to sponsor me, I think I'm good at reading the error messages. I think error messages should have, like, they should be voice acted. Yeah, they should have, like, when you get, like, the blue screen of death, there should be, like, a guy saying, "You're fucked." And it says, like, "Game over, man," or something like that, you know? Like, I want my computer to, like, stress me out more. I want it to, like, yell at me and be mean. Just take my mind off of things, you know? Like, I'm gonna, what's, you know, you come up to your friend and say, like, what's the matter? You look down, you say, "I got in a fight with my computer. It blue screened me all night." And the more I yelled at it, the more it just kept doing it. So, hey, look, nobody said living in the future was going to be easy. A lot of people actually said it was going to fucking suck. And a lot of them, I don't know, were kind of, it seems like they might have been correct. I don't know. But I'm not someone who thinks that, like, we can't possibly turn everything around, so... Nobody has any idea what's going to happen. Like, we keep forgetting that. Like, and then 2020 happened. Yeah, so you don't know shit. You just had a couple years to forget that you don't know shit. But you need to be, I think we should be reminded again. I'm not saying I want a bunch of people to die, but, you know, I do want just the disintegration of all physical matter. That will return us to the void. I think that would be cool. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but if everybody just gets disassembled, I had a thought about that as well. It was the thought that, like, enjoying sort of like offensive, like really transgressive art is that it has a destructive quality to it, but it doesn't give way to anything. Like sort of like the rebelliousness of like rock and roll. It was never like, here's what happens when we take down the system. So it's just destruction for destruction's sake, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But art, I guess, like rock and roll, I mean, you could say that it's like, it's an expression of something deeper than that. It's kind of a yearning for the void a little bit and being drawn to it from another angle, from a different perspective. There's something intangible that we're always trying to get at, but we can't really talk about it because there's no way to talk about it. There's no words for it. But just kind of a realization that it isn't the material physical reality that is more real than my experience of it. So it's another one of these. So So, the Purgatory Podcast, sponsored by Arm & Hammer. Do whatever you do with that shit. Half of my life was spent not knowing what that was. But, like, what is baking powdered soda? I still feel like I've barely unlocked the potential of, like, what baking soda is actually used for. Like, I know most of the basic things, but I feel like there's a whole world hiding there in the possibilities unlocked by baking soda. But who has time for that? I just woke up a bunch of fucking dogs, I guess. So there's dogs barking, and I'm pretty sure it was me. It must be all my dog whistling. People accuse me of that, and unfortunately the doctors have diagnosed me with a disease where my butt is open just enough that it's constantly emitting a very high-pitched frequency as air passes through it. This frequency has been known to draw the ire of dogs. It's more than a dog whistle. It actually makes them demonic. It drives them nuts. So this is why I can't get a dog. So in Purgatory, we do get lunches, but it's just some guy's ectoplasm. I say, whose is this? And they keep saying Abraham Lincoln. I'm like, he's still in here? Damn, that poor fucker. Why are we eating his ectoplasm? And they say he just has a lot and we're hungry. And I have this conversation every time because ghosts have terrible memory. Terrible memory. So, I don't know what else is happening. Did you guys hear about Hey, did you hear about the news? Lot of it. So, where to even begin? You know, when it comes to the news, it's like, wow. It's like, wow. You know, it's like, there's so much of it. I just wanted to get that off my chest, you know? Like, news, you don't have to watch it. I don't know, I guess there's other ways to get information now. You know, you could do like the witches would do, like they would try to read the future in like entrails or something. Do something with stars and like constellations, or don't worry about like the politics and all that or whatever, or like if the world is ending. Like if that's gonna happen, if it's gonna be that bad, I'll let you know. Like I'll come over and I'll be like, hey look, they're gonna run out of burgers tomorrow, so just warning you. So, you know, if Biden like shows whole, like that's the threshold at which I will inform you personally. Like I'll just figure it out. I'll find your email. Like everybody can find everybody these days. So I'll track you down and I'll tell you, like, look at this picture. It's like the goat sex image. If those of you familiar with early online lore. Early online lore is an old man stretching his asshole and showing you the inside. That's the lore. So it kind of makes sense that like the internet is the way it is now because it started with that. So that was the starting point, and we were just going to evolve out of that. It was better when you could see like old men's anuses compared to like people becoming racist. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, and if you want to buy my book, it's actually a novelization of the movie Volcano. I didn't say I wrote it, I just said I have a book that I need to get rid of, and so Malwarebytes is being so clingy now. Keep your cool with our summer sale. I love using Malwarebytes in the summer. It makes me, every time I see Malwarebytes, I think of the beach. I think of suntan lotion. Just kidding, I killed it. I killed it like the fucking bug it is. Even though it actually protects me from bugs. So thank you, Malwarebytes. I'm just messing around, but I don't need you right now. I'm free. I'm bareback on the internet. And it's gross to say, and it's scary to experience. I had 2 cups of coffee over the course of the day. So for me, I usually, I'm trying to get down to one cup of coffee per day. If I do 2, that's forgivable. 3, absolute max. See, I have principles. I have morals. I have rules. So I don't just do whatever I want, even though it seems like that. I have my own internal world of rules I have to follow that are largely arbitrary, but I'm too blind to see them for what they are, which is just like shit I made up and then believed in. If you adhere too strictly to certain rules, then that could limit you, and so you have to try to figure out what these silly rules are that you have. All this like code that you've written, ways that you expect yourself to behave, you project that onto other people, and you can maybe be a dick to them or something, or just kind of hate them or take something out on them. It's amazing how much you do that. You do it all the time. And it's kind of, you get to a point where you start to realize how much you're doing it, and you're like, what do I think I am? Like, why am I confusing me and other people? Why is there a part of me that doesn't recognize the difference? Like, why isn't the subconscious part of me able to say, no, this is another person with their own path that brought them here, their own unique individual experience that you can't directly access. You just have no idea how they see the world. But you expect them to be like you because you see yourself in them, even if they're not like you in any way. So you might think that means the subconscious mind is just kind of stupid. But it could be that the subconscious mind knows more when it comes to what you actually are. It doesn't make a distinction in the material world. So I'm basically, I'm pretty much a regular type of guy, the kind of guy you'd see, walking in the mall. You'd see me walking in a parking lot. You might see me walking you might even see someone like me in a hallway. I could be seen in a stairwell. I could be seen anywhere outdoors, really. I mean, not like in a volcano or something, but, I haven't done a lot of, our fan favorite features. I haven't, usually I dissect a squid at some point during the stream, and I haven't done that yet. People love the squid dissection. They like the other feature where I find a ballot from last year's election and I eat it, and then in the next show I find a ballot from the previous election, I eat that, and I'm going back. We're getting down into like 1925. It's getting hard to recreate what these ballots looked like, but I have a team working on this. All for me to eat it, and then I'm gonna poop it out. That's just how it is when I eat it, so. And it's more of a statement about democracy. I'm not sure what the statement is, but it is a statement of some. It's very political. It's so nuanced, it's so profound that even I don't understand what it is. America's fine. America's gonna be here forever. It's like your deadbeat. It's like a deadbeat dad who like gives you just enough to get by, assuming that like every individual human being isn't able to change their perspective of each other and the world around them. If we can't do that, then I don't see any like utopic vision emerging. So that's kind of a huge roadblock. So you'd have to like force that somehow. Because people see themselves as being separate from the world, so they think the world is like happening to them. Like it's like an event that's occurring to them, and they don't realize that they're the event itself. Once we start comparing ourselves to other things and other people, all kinds of complex patterns of behavior arise from that are many of them very, very destructive. If you just don't do that, that would be fine. But doing that would require burping, and it would require getting to know oneself better first. You pretty much have to start there. It's kind of the root. And if you have it figured out, then fine, then move on to sharing what you have with other people and trying to elevate everyone. But you don't really have access to those tools unless you are able to really examine your own damn self. So it's hard to know when you're finished with that. You probably aren't, but that's your main task, or I guess it should be. So I'm tired of talking about that. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about my real passion, which is skateboarding. And I'm talking about the tech decks. What I actually was able to do is I invented a device that shrinks me down so that I can actually use a tech deck like a regular skateboard. And I can fall and I can like hurt my head on like a grain of sand or something. So that when I fall it hurts more. Everybody in school had those tech decks, didn't they? All the cool guys with the spiky hair they always came into to 6th grade with a damn tech deck. What was the appeal? It's like your fingers are nothing like a human body. So what are you even emulating? It's a completely different skill set than skateboarding. And it was something where I would watch them do it. And I was like, I don't really know what you're actually doing. Like, you're just moving a thing around. It's like a nicotine patch for the high you get from skateboarding. It's like, I just brought a little pick-me-up during social studies. Well, the one feature I actually do on a regular basis, it's one you might know by the name of Time Check. And it's when we check to see what time it is. I access my inner alternate personality, who is known as the host of Time Check. However, he does not identify himself. He refuses to reveal his name. But he has said his gender, and he has said his blood type. And he also gave us a social security number. We didn't know what to do with that. We checked his bank account. He has $41 million in the Cayman Islands. So this guy's interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and access him now. Here he is. Hello, it's me, the host of Time Check. I'm here to check the time and let you know what time it is. And, today it's a great day it's a great time to look at the time. For those of you who don't know, I don't look at the time beforehand. The time is predetermined by an algorithm. I just get a notification when it's ready to check the time. And so I'm here. I'm on call 24/7 because I can get the call anytime. And I'm being told this was the correct time to come here and tell you what time it is. So I don't know what time it is. So I can't spoil it for you. According to this, it's 11:10. It is 11:10 p.m. I have a little something to say about 11:10 p.m. It might surprise you to learn that I was born at 11:10 p.m. The year was 1932. And I was just born. And I said, hey, what time is it? And my mom got so scared that she involuntarily flung me out a window. I landed in a dumpster. I lived with mice for about 2 years. And I would command them to snatch Rolexes that people had dropped out of the stream, bring them to me, so that I could always keep track of what time it was. And I would say, I don't need a family, I don't need parents, I don't need shelter or food. All I need is the rats and to know what time it is. When the people heard my story, and also the rats gave me a new kind of disease that I actually amplified Wi-Fi signals. So I'd go to like Madison Square Garden, I'd stand outside, and I'd tell people, hey, do you need the garden Wi-Fi? People would say, no, we're just on data, but thank you. And I say, I can boost that signal for you. I can get you on the Wi-Fi. Or do you have an unlimited data plan? They'd say, yeah, we do. Most people do now, so that line doesn't work anymore. That did not work as a business model. One day I was approached by someone who said, hey, what time is it? He was walking down the street. He didn't see me. But I stood in front of him and I told him, and I said, it is 11:10 a.m., sir. And that man said to me, you know what? You're going to check the time for me on my stream that I do online. And I said I'd be happy to do that because I need a fresh start. And he kicked me in the face. He assaulted me. I don't know why. I don't know what I said, but and then he called me on my phone that I had, my rat phone. I also train the rats to be phones. So that's my story. And Mom, you know, I'm sure you would have done a better job at raising me than rats. I mean, the rats were cool, but they were smoking cigarettes a lot. Did you guys know rats can do that? They would just find them on the side of the street. They'd find fire somehow, and they'd be lighting up every night, and they'd be pushing that on me. They'd come up to me and, like, they'd give me a cigarette because they saw me as a rat. And so I learned about peer pressure from that. By the way, those rats are still alive, despite being heavy smokers. And now that I'm doing well, now that I'm successful, I look after those rats, but we don't talk. Our relationship is kind of impersonal. And a part of me wants to go back to those days of being a rat. I think it was meant to be a rat. Like a rat in like a grandfather clock. That would be ideal. Well, this has been a time check. You know, instead of making me go through this, maybe just buy a clock, buy a watch, or just look at your phone so I don't have to go through this. Alright, bye. Ooh, wow. What else is going on? I can't believe I talked about the rat thing. It felt like I talked about that for a very long time. It's interesting. It's weird that you can talk and kind of like not really hear what you're saying. Like I know people who seem to kind of be in that state all the time. They're just kind of like talking, and you're like, what? I don't really know like what if you're saying anything that has meaning to me. You're just kind of like filling silence, which I'm starting to learn quite a lot about. Because if I wasn't talking in here, it would be silent. That's just the truth of it. You can hear it. Here's proof. Okay, well, here's proof. Now, the proof starts now. So, pretty interesting. So this has been Purgatory. I'm just posting these through like sheer willpower. I don't know how to use a computer. So hopefully it works. But I'm also kind of like part of my soul is inside of this stream, so it's like it's getting confusing. Like, am I accessing YouTube from the real world? Or am I accessing the real world through YouTube? Am I in YouTube? Hard to tell, not known. This is Purgatory Podcast brought to you by Scotch Brite Sponges. Just because I'm dead doesn't mean I don't care about dishes. Or I still have to do them, even though all I eat is ectoplasm. I'm gonna like level with you, like as a ghost to you guys. They told me that was Lincoln's ectoplasm. I'm pretty sure it was the dude's cum. So, and it seems disrespectful to be milking one of the greatest presidents, especially when the guy's fucking dead. Give him a break. Didn't he do enough? Now he has to sustain us. He has to sustain everybody in the Purgatory realm. Purgatory realm, I went downstairs. You know, you can kind of travel a little bit. Yeah, I got a peek into hell one time. I once almost became evil as a ghost because I accidentally appeared in a mirror and somebody said, "Oh, I just saw an ugly guy behind me." And I was like, I'm going Joker. But then I just ate some ectoplasm and I felt better about it and I wasn't evil anymore. And it's hard enough to just not become evil. How do you get good? I'm putting in work just trying to kind of keep the scales balanced. How do I tip it in that direction? I don't know, but I filed an appeal. That's going through the justice realms, so I heard. You know, word gets around fast in Purgatory because everybody's so fucking bored. In Purgatory, every day they make us watch that just really wretched John Mulaney sitcom. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a reason for that. Makes no sense. Probably one of the few good stand-ups working today still. Who else? Exactly. Apparently the thing that put me over the edge, I was karmically almost exactly where I needed to be, but I stepped on like a couple of ants for fun one time. And that was what put me over the edge. They said, go to the land of smoke and mirrors. And I said, why are you talking like that? Just talk normal. Like, you're basically just like the kiosk. You're basically like the map in the mall. Like, you're just telling me where I go. These bean counters, man. They're everywhere. You can't even escape them in death. Except the beans are like your deeds. The beans are your deeds. So with only 15 minutes, I have to spill some real beans. I'm talking about the tea. I'm gonna spill the tea. I guess I would have to just kind of ask myself, how am I feeling? I'd say I feel pretty normal. I'm a very functional person to some extent. I mean, I'm lazy about like a lot of things, but like I'm able to get by. But I also feel like there's some like invisible part of me that's like circling like this drain, and the closer I get to the drain, the more I realize I'm what's down the drain. There's something at the center of me that is nothing, but it's like an infinite nothing. It feels like it goes on forever. So I think that can be interpreted in a number of different ways. And if you're coming at it from a negative or misguided place, then you probably would lose it. Like, you'd lose your shit. But if you kind of lay some groundwork and understanding of what it means to be nothing, then you're not afraid of nothing. If you're not afraid of nothing, then you are completely safe. What's the worst thing that can happen? You become nothing? Oh well. So there isn't really any reason for fear. And if everybody lived without fear, if everybody could access that, then almost all of the problems you encounter at the sociological level evaporate. Because everything we do to hurt each other and ourselves is based out of fear. If you can inculcate that in people at like a young age, if we eradicate the idea of permanent death, then we don't even tell people it. Like, we tell people, okay, your body's going to die, but you're not going to. But if everybody believed that and acted in that way, then that would just kind of change the way we organize and structure society and the way that we treat each other. It's all just kind of like wishful thinking. Or, I mean, I don't know. We don't know how it'll turn out. But I'm not worried. I'm in purgatory. So I'm done with the material reality. I'm just trying to sort of like being in an elevator that broke. On the plus side, I get to haunt people. I get to freak out people's cats. Thanks for coming out. And I'm sorry that I didn't sing the national anthem like I usually do. And I'm sorry that the fighter jets, they were busy, so they were not able to do a flyover. They were bombing the Amazon rainforest. We figure it's quicker to just blow that shit up. I mean, we're just gonna take it out anyway, so let's just blow it up. But it's for a good reason, so I'm not mad that they weren't able to make an appearance tonight. So we were gonna have Gritty come out, but he actually tripped and fell. He got a concussion, or they're not sure if he's gonna make it. I heard rumors Gritty's on life support.